Tonight I'm going to be making some pasta with squash. This is a very simple meal to put together for weeknights. I'm basically going to do pasta with oil and garlic, and then I'm going to be using this squash, which kind of reminds me of Italian cucuzza, which tends to be a little more longer and slender, but I feel like this could be in the same family, so I'm gonna cut it open and use it up because it needs to get used. So this is a dish that is pretty humble. If you don't have like too many ingredients on hand, you can put this together in no time. It's probably gonna take longer to boil the water than anything else, which I do have a pot of water starting to boil on the stove, and I want to show you what I'm going to be using and how I do it. Okay, so very simply, I'm going to be using some spaghetti for this. My squash, I have washed really well. I'm going to slice it in about 1/4 inch slices. I have a handful of garlic. I have a lemon that I'm just going to be using the zest of, as well as some fresh parsley, some crushed red pepper flake, a knob of butter, and I will be using olive oil, salt, and pepper as well. Okay, so first things first, because I'm going to be frying the zucchini in olive oil, I did put my apron on because I don't want anything splattering on my blouse. I did just come home from work. And wherever there's a bit of a blemish, I might just peel the skin off a little bit, but if it is otherwise tender, I'm going to leave the skin on. If you're wondering how this particular squash tastes like, it's pretty mild. And you don't really need to do much to it, but it pairs really well with a simple pasta such as this. I feel like it's a little early for squashes, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to turn out. I tried licking a piece, but it's kind of bland. And some of the seeds are a little hard, so this is just going to be troubleshooting. Usually squash like this is around summertime, I believe, but we're going to cook it and we're going to see how it is. I am going to get everything prepped up. So I'm going to chop my garlic now, although I will be using it in a little bit. First thing I want to do is actually cook the squash, because if it hangs out at room temperature, that's okay. So I'm going to chop up my garlic. I'm going to zest up my lemon and clean and chop my parsley, and then I'll start actually cooking. You can use as much or as little garlic as you'd like. I used about 5 cloves, and they were about medium-sized cloves, and I'm just going to chop them up pretty good. I like to use a lot of parsley for this because I feel that it elevates the dish a little bit, and it doesn't feel like you're just having olive oil on your pasta. It really brightens the dish. And if you're a wine drinker or wine enthusiast, this would be about the time that you pour yourself a glass of wine. So we have a thin layer of olive oil in a nonstick pan, and I'm going to start by frying my squash. You do want to hear it sizzle. I think I'm going to wait just a half a minute longer before I put the rest in. So this is what I've got. I have a single layer right now. You don't want to crowd the pan too much. You do want this to go until they're going to start browning and have little brown spots on one side. Then you'll turn them, continue to cook them until they're done, and set them aside. When you set them aside, that's when you're going to hit them with a little pinch of salt. Just use a fork when you want to turn them. This is kind of what I mean. You're going to see brown spots on it. This could actually go a little longer, but I'm going to start turning them slowly. As you can see, that is what I'm talking about. And when it's like this on both sides and that you can easily pierce it with a fork, that means it's done, and then you can remove it from the pan and set it aside. So do keep an eye on it. The oil will splatter a little bit, so just be aware of that. And then as they come out, again, just hit them with a little bit of salt. You don't need too much, especially if they're sweet and in season. You know, they should be fairly tasty, but on the milder side. So I tasted one in the meantime, just to kind of see like how they are or how this one is. And it's okay, but I'm going to add just a little bit more salt to kind of bring out the flavor. The skin is a bit bitter on this one, and I should have just peeled it, but I didn't. Okay, so I went ahead and wiped the residual oil from the squash, and now I'm gonna start with some fresh olive oil, and I'm gonna drop in my garlic and some pepper flake. My heat is actually off, and I've added just a touch of water to this to prevent the garlic from burning. And I'm not worried about that because it'll all come together in the end. And so this is just going to hang out right now. I'm going to give my pasta a few minutes, and then I'm going to add it to this along with my parsley, lemon zest, and butter. So my pasta is almost ready. It maybe needs another minute or so, and then I'm going to transfer it to the pan with my garlic and olive oil, and then whatever residual water is clinging to my noodles is just going to add and build it to the sauce. But you can also reserve some pasta water. The other trick is to taste a strand of the pasta for doneness. When it's still just a little bit hard, just a little bit, you want to take it out and transfer it to the pan with the sauce, and it'll finish cooking in the garlic and olive oil. And that is a huge tip. So you don't have to drain it and then add it back. No, just pick it up and put it in the other pan. So I've turned my burner on again, and this is over a medium low. I'm going to start adding my pasta to this. I've added some extra pasta water. I'm gonna also drop in my butter, and I'm gonna mix this vigorously so everything gets incorporated. And as you can see, the liquid is going to reduce and come together into a sauce. Also put some cracked black pepper, and I'm just going to continue to stir this until the butter has melted. And I'll finish it with a drizzle of good olive oil. But this looks really good. Okay, so here we have our spaghetti with olive oil and garlic, as well as some fried cucuzza, which is a squash. I did taste it, and it is in the same family. It's the same thing. So I'm not that hungry tonight, but I do want a little something, and then I'll take some for lunch tomorrow. It'll be for my husband, and it'll all get eaten. One squash was enough for the two of us, but you know, please adjust to your household needs. And this is just very simple, very satisfying if you don't want something like too heavy, I suppose. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time.